From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Thursday, August 13th, 2026. I'm Sarah Lane. UK eyes AI gene synthesis guardrails. The UK government is reportedly planning safeguards for the use of AI in gene synthesis, as officials worry the technology could make biological weapons easier to create. Bloomberg sources say ministers are considering new biological weapons legislation aimed at terrorists, other bad actors, and even careless researchers using AI to produce synthetic DNA. The plans haven't been formally announced, so the final rules could still change. DeadLock puts ransomware on the blockchain. The DeadLock ransomware gang is using the Polygon blockchain to store configuration data and posts for its leak site, reducing its reliance on domains and servers that law enforcement can seize. Microsoft says the operation also uses the decentralized session network for encrypted victim chats and Wasabi cloud storage for stolen files. DeadLock has listed 80 victims, mostly in Europe, and uses both data theft and encryption to pressure them. The setup is harder to disrupt, but not unstoppable, because its custom proxy, public blockchain access points, and cloud-hosted files can still be blocked or removed. An evil twin flies home from DEF CON. Delta says an unauthorized Wi-Fi network briefly appeared aboard Flight 591 from Las Vegas to Atlanta, one day after DEF CON ended. A Reddit account claimed the hotspot, which was named Delta Wi-Fi Fast, used a phishing page to collect credentials, but officials haven't confirmed that. Delta shut off its real onboard Wi-Fi for about 30 minutes during the incident and says no aircraft systems were affected and safety was never in question. The FBI's Atlanta office is looking into the incident, but no arrests were made and agents didn't meet the plane at the gate. Hackers go fishing for private photos. Speaking of the FBI, it is actually warning that criminals are breaking into adults' and children's social media accounts to steal explicit photos and videos, then sell or post the material alongside personal information. Attackers are trying leaked passwords and PINs, impersonating platform support staff, flooding victims with password reset requests, and sending them to cloned login pages. Once the material is out, victims can face more harassment or stalking or sextortion and attacks promoted through their own accounts. Huge thanks to our sponsor, ThreatLocker. AI is compressing the timeline between initial access and impact. That leaves security teams less time to identify, investigate, and contain malicious activity. Faster response helps, but prevention can remove actions from the attack chain entirely. Give your responders a more controlled environment. Book a ThreatLocker demo at threatlocker.com/CISO. SharePoint exploit comes in hot. Attackers started targeting a SharePoint vulnerability almost immediately after Rapid7 published technical details and proof of concept code on Tuesday. The critical flaw lets a remote attacker bypass authentication, impersonate a site user or administrator, disclose files, and modify data. Threat intelligence firm Diffused spotted attempts using Rapid7's code in its honeypots the next day. Microsoft did patch the flaw in July. It also fixed a separate bug that can be chained with it for remote code execution. Plug and play or plug and pwn. Back to DEF CON now, where researchers Alejandro Hernando and Borja Martinez showed how fake USB devices can make Windows Plug and Play automatically install vulnerable vendor software with the operating system's highest privileges. Some attack chains don't need clicks or a logged-in user, and one compromised a fully updated Windows 11 machine in about 5 minutes. A no-plug-and-pwn variation works remotely through Remote Desktop Protocol USB redirection without physical hardware. Blocking co-installers disrupts some examples, but the researchers say sensitive systems should also restrict device installations and disable plug-and-play redirection where it isn't needed. Hundreds of fake VPN extensions fight privacy. Researchers found 737 free Chrome VPN and proxy extensions targeting mostly Russian-speaking users, with 75,486 installs across at least 40 developer accounts. Of those, 274 impersonated 66 established privacy brands, including Proton VPN, NordVPN, ExpressVPN, and Cloudflare. Nearly every extension in the main group routed the entire browser session through the same SOCKS 5 proxy infrastructure, giving its operator visibility into destinations, source addresses, and unencrypted web requests. Google had removed 221 of the extensions, but 516 were still active when the research was published. One phone call, 2 malware installs, and a stolen loan. Group IB says a fraudster used a single 13-minute phone call to deploy 2 Android malware families and steal from a victim. Posing as a bank employee, the caller convinced the victim to sideload a personalized spy note remote access Trojan, which then installed the Wind Relay malware without triggering screen sharing. When the victim tapped a payment card, as instructed, Wind Relay captured the live near-field communication exchange and then relayed it to a second device at a real terminal. The attacker also used the banking app to take out a loan in the victim's name, and card transactions appeared shortly after the call. Group IB linked Wind Relay to 23 samples impersonating institutions in Czechia, Slovakia, and Slovenia. If you have any thoughts on the news from today or about our show in general, be sure to reach out. feedback@CISOseries.com. We always want to hear from you. I am Sarah Lane, reporting for the CISO Series. Stay safe out there, planet Earth.
Cybersecurity headlines are available every weekday. Head to CISOseries.com for the full stories behind the headlines.